A broken blade from the past haunts our samurai, leading to bloodshed. Let's begin our tale. Last time on the Blue-Eye Samurai.
You don't even deserve this blade.
Heiji Shindo! I bought it from Heiji Shindo!
A breeze can throw a crane off course. You are a typhoon.
Your whore mother killed herself because your father is a white devil.
It would be nice if somebody hammered out the impurities.
Do you know where I can find the Shindo dojo?
Shindo? That's our dojo.
What was his name again?
Taigen, I believe.
He said yes?
At the time I was born, there were 4 white men in all of Japan. One of them took my mother and made of me a monster. You're from Kohama Village.
Heiji Shindo is in the fortress on Tanabe Island, protected by the Gengen clan.
Send the 4 fangs after this samurai.
Peaches.
In the ramen shop, the owner cleans the last of the bloodstains left by our samurai after he had eliminated Hachiman, the flesh trader. With his son gone, all of the daily responsibilities fall on the ramen shop owner, much to his displeasure. He is almost done when a sinister silence grips the shop with the appearance of 4 shadows.
The 4 fangs! What an honor! May I get you something to eat?
However, the 4 fangs are interested in knowing the whereabouts of the samurai who came through there. But the customers there would like nothing more than to enjoy their food without hearing the explicit explanation of the samurai's deeds.
Shut up. We're trying to eat.
A bloodbath ensues soon after, as no one who dared to lock horns with the 4 fangs has ever survived. Seeing death dance before his eyes, the shop owner makes a wise decision.
He was here 2 days ago. He spilled blood everywhere. And he took my son! An invalid! That's it! That's it!
Meanwhile, after her secret of being a woman is exposed, the samurai tries to avoid the waiter, who somehow always manages to find her.
You move quietly for someone so large.
The waiter credits his father, who would beat him whenever he made noise in the kitchen. So he learned to move quietly like a ninja. Still not impressed, the samurai warns him to stay away from her.
But I'm useful! You see? I heard white people's skin burns off in the sun.
However, the waiter is far from giving up and promises never to disclose her secret, but he went too far. Our samurai continues her journey in the blizzard and soon reaches another city's entrance. She plans to bribe her way in, as she did in Kyoto City, hoping the guards here are just as easily persuaded.
Are you trying to bribe me? Arrest him and flog him!
Our samurai changes her plan and is about to leave when a guard stops her and asks for her pass. She prepares to slice her way through to the other side when suddenly...
Right here. Travel passport 2. Come on, you! My apprentice.
The samurai plays along and calls the waiter her apprentice. They gain entry to the pass, but the samurai keeps her distance from him.
You will not find what you seek at my side. I am owed my revenge, and I will have it at any cost.
However, the waiter insists on being a part of her revenge, and even promises to help her, confident in his skills. Though our samurai is not so sure.
Noodles is not war.
But the samurai has a change of heart when the waiter shows her his stubs, a reflection of his struggles without hands. He perceives her silence as a yes and happily tails her.
I'm an apprentice.
Meanwhile, at the palace, Taigen sulks at the shame the samurai has brought him. Akemi tries to placate the situation and reminds him they will soon marry. But Taigen would rather die than live in such shame.
You can't kill yourself over a brawl with some monster. It wasn't even a duel. It was an attack. Did he officially challenge you? Victory cannot come from dishonor.
She suggests he challenge the samurai and earn his honor back by defeating him after they marry, hoping to persuade him with choice words.
But your courage drives him back like a squall against the sea. You unsheath your magnificent sword.
Akemi enchants Taigen, and at that moment they decide to let their body and souls become one. After they're done, Taigen has made up his mind to find the samurai immediately and eliminate him in a duel to restore his honor, much to Akemi's displeasure.
You can't leave.
He's looking for Heiji Shindo. Arrogant enough to go straight to him.
But Taigen leaves in a rage to seek his revenge. Elsewhere, the samurai and the waiter try to cross a steep mountain in the snow, while the waiter bores her with tiresome life tales.
You don't have to be here.
And miss you killing Heiji Shindo?
But the samurai reveals she's not after Heiji, but the white man Heiji is protecting. They are on an island, and the samurai wishes to get it over with by sunrise. They enter a town that looks abandoned, but they follow a drunkard and discover a lively sight. The town is celebrating Hadaka Matsuri, but little do they know it goes by another name, the Naked Festival. The samurai reminds the waiter they are there for a boat, putting an end to the waiter's excitement of the celebration. They soon find a boat, but the sailors deliver unfortunate news.
Everyone's closed today. You don't want a bad year, do you?
The samurai has no choice but to agree to sail the next day. The sailors recommend staying for Shingi as a dip in the ice water to cleanse the soul. But the samurai takes her leave and bumps into the waiter for the 10th time as he keeps sneaking up behind her.
Your foot. You are never to take that off. The day you take that off, you are discharged from your duties.
She then proceeds to set up camp at the eastern cliff and train for the day, while she recommends the waiter, Ringo, to have fun and stay there for as long as he wants.
An apprentice would never leave his master's side. Just a little fun. Then tomorrow...
Meanwhile, both Taigen and the Four Fangs are hot on the samurai's trail. The only difference is the Four Fangs leave a bit of a mess along the way. On an island, Heiji Shindo looks out the window for the light of fire that was supposed to go off once the samurai dies. But no fire has been lit.
Pay money for a job you don't want to think about. It's the whole point.
The man in question is one of the 4 white men in Japan that our samurai is hunting, and he's fed up with hiding in the shadows. However, Heiji promises surprises along their journey to Edo on their spring pilgrimage, and soon he'll be free to go anywhere he likes.
After all these years, you've mastered the brush.
Useless art I mastered to while away the hours.
He's done with the shogun having their way and denying his existence, so he plans to change that soon. Meanwhile, our samurai finds solace in the crashing waves as she is reminded of another instance from her time with the Swordfather. A bookbinder had come to him asking for a blade made by him so he could avenge his father's death by a drunkard. Our young samurai is moved by his story.
Will you make him a blade?
He's hiding something.
But he intends to help the bookbinder die with honor. So he asks our young samurai to prepare a blade for him, and for the first time, calls her by her true name.
Your fire is in this edge, Mizu.
Once the blade is tempered, Mizu decides to take a break to train, but she is noticed by the bookbinder.
Your foot announces your thoughts. Mixed breeds are all weak stock.
As of this moment, Mizu has decided to hide her identity as a woman and disguise herself as a man, so she can never be reminded of the fact that she is weaker than any man. She returns to the Swordfather, who bestows a bit of wisdom upon her.
The Yakira is when metal is reborn, and the soul enters the sword.
Swordfather notices that her soul may not truly be at rest, but he doesn't say anything. Once the sword for the bookbinder is finished, the Swordfather tests the blade, but something unexpected occurs. Yet the Swordfather is not fazed, and the two present the same sword to the bookbinder. The bookbinder isn't pleased with the outcome and raises his hand on Mizu, who takes the blame for the faulty blade. But before he can thrash her more, the Swordfather stops him.
I believed your story. This is not the hand of a bookbinder. An assassin's hand.
With the bookbinder's secret exposed, he reveals he is known as Blood-Soaked Chiaki, and with this sword, he plans to make a fortune from killing, and leaves. Mizu believes it is her fault, as she was the one who forged the sword, but Swordfather thinks otherwise.
We can only mind our own soul, Mizu.
At present, Mizu emerges from the water, no longer the feeble girl she once was. With her intent clear as day, she spends time strengthening not just her body, but also her mind. Unbeknownst to her, Taigen observes her closely and realizes he must train more to defeat her. So he decides to do a little training of his own. Back in the palace, Akemi is frustrated that Taigen left her just before they were about to get married. However, she is soon summoned by her father, and after being dressed in the finest muslin, she hesitantly makes her way to the guest area, where two Shogun counselors are waiting.
She's as you promised. Yes, lovely. Bit old, but many good years left.
They happily suggest that Akemi will make a suitable wife to the Shogun's younger son.
A spring wedding would be auspicious.
The boy is eager.
They exchange engagement gifts, but to Akemi's horror,
And oh, how Guro said, the master prefers black pearls to white.
Akemi is thrown into a panic at the prospect of being sent away and pleads with her father to call off the wedding. But this time, her father will not fall for her sweet words and makes it clear that they will be leaving in 5 days. So Akemi finds the only plausible thing to do and decides to run away. But as she's making her move, Seki arrives, so she lies about going to see the silk trader.
Why didn't you stand up for me?
For example, when you seem set on what is clearly a bad decision, like running away.
However, Akemi is set on her decision because she refuses to be confined. Seki warns her of dire consequences, if not by the brigands, then by her father, whoever finds her first. But her stubbornness wins in the end, after Seki feels she will suffer at the Shogun's son's hands.
Now get in and shut the door. If we're running away, let's at least do it warm.
Meanwhile, in the town, the festivities are in full swing. Soon, the light brushing of sticks catches everybody's attention.
Every day for 1,000 years. Who shall win their power this year?
Ringo is curious to know what power the priestess is talking about when he hears a woman's voice explaining that the priestess throws the sacred shingi in the water, and the winner who retrieves them gets to fulfill his fondest wish. However, noodles pose a better attraction for Ringo, so he tastes the noodles of the top 2 ranked shops.
Transcendent. I thought I was the best.
He realizes he has a long way to go and almost gives up, when the shop owner of the #1 noodle shop proposes an idea.
You mean stay here? You got somewhere better to be?
On the mountain, Mizu mentally prepares for the moment she will slay the white man who destroyed her mother's life. She hears the drums from a distance and gets up to sneak a peek when a sword comes flying towards her, but misses by a few inches. The Four Fangs have arrived.
You have enemies now. Rich ones.
Mizu's blue eyes make the Four Fangs hate her even more as they prepare to strike. Meanwhile, at the village, amidst the drum beats, the villagers strip naked and run into the ice-cold sea.
What's everyone doing? Being reborn! What are you waiting for?
Back on the mountain, Mizu finds herself trapped. The Four Fangs surround her on a dangerous cliff where one wrong move will end her life. But she does the unthinkable. But she actually set her own trap, forcing the Four Fangs to fight on uncomfortable territory.
Each year, we come scorched by ire and affliction. But only one of you gets your fondest wish. Make your wish now.
While Mizu fights to survive the ambush, Ringo fights to prove that he is good at something. A brush of cold water brings Mizu back to her senses, and she now stands against the Fourth Fang, their leader. The leader acknowledges her, stating she has forced him to use his true blade. He unsheathes his sword, but to Mizu's surprise, she recognizes the broken blade.
Still soft.
It is the same broken katana she had made for blood-soaked Chiaki in her youth. But this time, Mizu won't let him mock her as he did years ago, and the duel begins. But before she can land an attack, a nearby shadow distracts her, and blood-soaked Chiaki slices deep into her waist. With victory in sight, the leader prepares for the kill and charges, but something in Mizu clicks. Blood-soaked Chiaki is ashamed that he will die by an impure hand, but Mizu bids him goodbye, forever. However, Mizu isn't done yet. As she walks towards the rock where the shadow came from, a familiar face emerges.
I am owed my honor.
Then take it.
But before the duel can start, Mizu loses consciousness due to excessive blood loss. With the restoration of his honor in sight, Taigen prepares to strike. And that brings us to the end of Volume 2 of The Blue-Eyed Samurai. Remember to subscribe and let us know if you would like a third volume.